East, and Twitter has spoken.
What did they say?
Whatever. The Redskins, 31%. Eagles and Giants tied for 24%. And the Cowboys,
No,
that's close,
impressive.
Skip.
The Cowboys got 21%. That's stunning to me.
Wow.
There's hope.
Wow.
Oh, gosh, we're spending
But at least they got
together.
the first team right.
Yeah.
The Redskins.
Really?
The Redskins are the team. Again, for the second week in a row, I'm here preaching that Kirk Cousins in that defensive backfield ranked about 12th or so. And I think that's really the key there when you talk about the NFC East. They're just so unreliable, all the teams. I think when you look at it, quarterback receiver combination, the Giants have it there, but they don't really have a running game. I think when you look at defensively, I saw a little bit of pressure the other day, which they love to do with their front four, got after him, but in the end, they're too inconsistent. Giants front four did a great job. JPP, man, putting pressure on, but they're too inconsistent. They don't have anything to really rely on outside of that great combination of Eli and Odell Beckham. I mean, great highlights, one-headed catches and all that, but you know what? At the end of the game, it's all about winning, and they don't do that enough for me, particularly last week when you lose to the Washington Redskins. So I'm going with the Washington Redskins still as the NFC East champs, because there's no way the Philadelphia Eagles are going to climb back up on that horse with all those obstacles and issues with the defense, the secondary. You don't know who's running the football. As far as quarterback play is concerned, it's up and down.
You realize, I think everybody at this table has picked all four teams at one point this year.
Yeah, it changes every week. It's ridiculous.
Listen, the fact of the matter is that it's one of those rare occasions, guys, where we can't blame ourselves. The NFC East is so haphazard. It lacks continuity. Guys look like professionals 1 minute, Pop Warner players the next. They can't make up their own damn mind, so why should we be obligated to? Having said all of that, speaking with my heart instead of my head, I can't go against the Giants in favor of Kirk Cousins just yet, because it is Kirk Cousins that we're talking about, who can be an accident waiting to happen in his own right, particularly when the bright lights come on. But I will leave open the possibility that he could change my mind if he shows up in a primetime venue like tonight and handles his business in the nation's capital. If that happens, which should happen, then I'm going to give him props. I want to say this, and I'll give a lot of credit to Joe Theismann, who won a Super Bowl with the Redskins, somebody that you're very familiar with as well as yourself. He showed up in a lot of big moments. He knows what he's talking about, and he still gives analysis on the Redskins. He's been raving about Kirk Cousins for weeks. He's been on my show on two occasions. That's right, Skip. Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports.
82.
Channel 82.
82?
1 to 3 p.m.
It's international,
every Eastern time, every weekday. He showed up on that at least 2 or 3 times. And each time, even before the Redskins went on their run, he said, look, Stephen A., don't rule out Kirk Cousins. He prepares. He puts forth the hard work. He's disciplined. He has a good rapport with the coach. He's got a hold on what they're doing and what they want to do, and that goes a long way. And then I'm looking at Kirk Cousins. The brother's completing 68% of his passes.
Yes.
68% of his passes. I mean, he's got 16 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, but he's got a...
So scan the list there for me. Has he won on the road yet?
No, hold on. Let me...
Just for the record. I just want to make sure.
No.
He has checking your facts.
Every single road game he has lost. But tonight's game is at home.
That's correct.
And so we have to take that into consideration.
He's won 5 in a row.
The road games that he has left are Chicago, Philly, and Dallas after this. I don't see, it's not implausible for Washington to win 3 of those games, 2 of those 3 on the road. All I'm saying to you is that when I look at it from that perspective, as much as I don't want to believe in him, I'm a fair-minded dude. No matter how I feel, no matter what I say, if you show me, then I'm going to acknowledge you've shown me.
Right.
And thus far, Kirk Cousins is showing me that Jay Gruden made the right decision by placing his faith in Kirk Cousins. Tonight, however, see, you bring up road. I bring up bright lights prime time.
It is.
Whenever the bright lights come on, Kirk Cousins has disappointed me. Will that be the case tonight? That's going to tell me a lot.
Even if he merely shows up against a 3-8 team?
Well, what I'm saying to you is, it doesn't matter because I don't think he's allergic to the road. I don't even think it's about the competition. I think to him it's about the bright lights and expectations. Like when we start talking about the Redskins, like, man, I was impressed with Kirk Cousins. Yeah. All right, here we go. And then all of a sudden they got a nationally televised game. He stinks up the joint. I mean, I got friends and loved ones in D.C. that are done with the Redskins because they refuse to believe in him. Because when the lights shine brightest, he withers. And that's what I'm worried about tonight. I'm not worried about the Redskins being a worse team than the Cowboys. I'm worried about Kirk Cousins being under the bright lights of Monday Night Football with Jay Gruden on the sideline and John Gruden in the booth with my man Mike Tirico.
Good point.
And all of a sudden dissecting and highlighting his strengths and his deficiencies and him wilting beneath that pressure. That is my concern, but I'm still going to pick the Redskins to win this game tonight.
Okay.
Are you?
Yes.
Big?
No, I don't think it'll be big. I think it'll be something along the lines of 27-21, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before I launch into my soliloquy, I have a theory about the Philadelphia Eagles' victory yesterday. There's this supposed rookie for Philly who plays cornerback named Eric Rowe from Utah. I am now convinced it's actually Eric Allen masquerading as Eric Rowe, because how could they have suddenly turned it around? Like, did you go play at Foxborough?
And you know what? I tried, but Eric Rowe's a good ball player now.
He
can
Long
play.
and lean.
I like him, Skip.
Very
I like
physical.
Started reminding me of Eric Allen.
Hey, you know what?
He's
Did a very
physical,
good
he ain't
job.
scared.
Yeah.
He goes after it.
Big, strong
He
kid.
seems to be the antithesis
Now,
of what Chip
you wouldn't have
Kelly.
said that after you wouldn't have said that after Thanksgiving Day debacle at Detroit.
Well, that was
Right.
a collective meltdown.
Okay. All right. I am also saying Washington is in the driver's seat in the East because they have my pathetic Roma-less Dallas Cowboys twice. They get them at home and at the place where my Cowboys never seem to rise and shine, Jerry World, where, by the way, if I remember correctly and painfully, the Washington Redskins beat my Cowboys when they were riding high last year at Jerry World on a Monday night. Do you remember that game? It was a Colt McCoy game, but who remembers that?
Yeah.
Okay, Romo got banged up, ribs, whatever. Okay, so they've got 2 against Dallas that they should win. And at Chicago, I'd give them a pretty good shot to win that game.
Yeah.
Buffalo at home, I give them a shot to win that game. At Philadelphia, I'm not so sure. But I will say this, curious your take. I thought yesterday for the Eagles was a fluky, freaky aberration. Because if you hand a visiting team 3 tumultuous turnover touchdowns, not 1 or 2, 3, where you give them the ball and let them go all the way home with it 3 times, you're probably going to lose that game at home. If you give up 35 unanswered, you're probably going to lose that game at home. I agree with you, Sam Bradford made a couple of good throws, but only a couple because the yards are low. They had 248 total yards because all the scoring mostly came off these fluke freak plays. So I'm not going to overreact to what the Eagles did. I'm not going to say Chip's team is back in business. Now, again, do they still have everybody's got a shot here, right?
Right.
Okay, but I
would agree with you with the Philadelphia Eagles point. I think another thing also is the familiarity between the Eagles and the Patriots practicing against one another. So it wasn't like, you know, hey, here comes the big bad Patriots. Then you don't have Gronk, you don't have Edelman, you have a banged up Danny Amendola. The running game is not as strong as it should be with this Patriots football team. So I think there was a little fool's gold when we're talking about
for most of a week.
Without a doubt.
In preseason, obviously. And I think the mystique was lifted a little bit when you get to see them up close and personal and you say, oh, we're okay. And I still say this about Chip's Eagles. That's a talented football team. I don't care. I don't love the quarterback, but other than the quarterback, there's talent everywhere.
But let's be clear. We've never questioned their talent. What we questioned was the intestinal fortitude, their physicality, and the schemes that Chip Kelly wants to employ because he wants to look like boy genius, deviating away from what their strengths are. Like, for example, DeMarco Murray. Like, how do you give this rookie Barner the ball in those key pivotal situations when you got a guy like...
He's a first year.
I'm sorry. Well, how do you give him the ball when you have DeMarco Murray?
He's an Oregon guy. That's how you get him.
But I'm saying you do that after going out and paying DeMarco Murray this money. So what I'm saying to you is that, you know, Kerry Williams is gone, but you bring in an overpay Byron Maxwell. So when you look at it from that perspective, we all know that the Eagles have talent. It's what Chip Kelly It's how he uses it that has fallen under the spotlight.
Yeah, without a doubt.
We're not questioning.
They are
talented. I
talented.
want the Eagles to know nobody's questioning their talent. We know they have talent. It's what Chip Kelly does with it that everyone's questioning.
Okay, I got a
doubt.
question for both of you. Ex-Eagle and a Philly, still area resident.
Absolutely.
How much credibility did Chip win back yesterday with that win?
I don't
Philly?
think. Go ahead.
For me, very little.
Okay.
Very little because of
agree.
the team they played and where the Patriots were at that moment. Now, this is different if we're talking about the Patriots 4 or 5 weeks ago when everyone's healthy.
Totally agree with him. Totally agree with him. It does. It stopped the bleeding because there's 2 consecutive weeks where you gave up 45 points, and it was Tom Brady on the other side of that defense that you were, on the offense that you were facing. But in the end, it's very, very little credibility because Philadelphia knows football. They know Gronk wasn't there. They know Edelman wasn't there. They know Deion Lewis wasn't there. And they also know that Brandon LaFell can't catch. So they saw all of these things, and they're like this. Block punt.
Yeah.
Punt return.
Yeah.
Tom Brady interception. That's not normal.
Yeah, that doesn't
they know
happen.
that. They know that. So I guarantee you this, nobody in Philadelphia will want the Eagles to play him again.
Do you think he got some credibility?
An ounce. Like an ounce. Because you got to give it to, I mean, they did pull that off, and they actually looked like a football team yesterday for the first time in a long time. That coming off 2 straight games in which they had allowed 45 points in 5 touchdown passes. What I was impressed with, we said after the Thanksgiving game, they had quit on Chip Kelly.
They did.
Yesterday, they didn't look like they had quit on Chip Kelly. Is that
That's
fair?
Maybe just because they wanted to beat the Patriots.
That's fair.
My last quick point in this discussion, if Tony Romo were still healthy,
Oh, come on. We got to go to break.
if he were still healthy, you know it, you know
Okay,
it.
yeah, we know it.
By
I
the
know.
way,
Let me be clear,
Emmitt's
though.
still
So
running the ball.
everybody's picking
Take
Washington
Novacek.
tonight?
we're
We're all picking Washington tonight, even you, Skip?
Washington should win.
Hold on.
Okay, and the division.
Hold on, Molly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Buffalo and Arizona.
Who?
Next 2 games for the Eagles.
Yeah, at home, but
Well, the Eagles. Remember, Eagles love to lose at home.
okay.
Okay.
In my final point, the only NFC East team that scored more points than it's allowed this season, the Giants, plus 11.
Thank you.
Just had to get that in there.
Appreciate that.
Cam does it again with a late comeback win in New Orleans. Is the leader of the undefeated Panthers the MVP favorite now? We discuss that next.
You come.
I get in trouble 'cause I speak my mind.
I don't want to hear that.
You are increasingly annoying to me.
Will you open your eyes? I just don't know what to say. A dead clock is right twice a day.
What are we gonna praise him for next to the kind of damn cereal he eats for breakfast?